Hey, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel, you lovely plant lovers. If you're new here, my name is Bruno. I'm an ex-Australian Lithuanian and I've been living here in Vilnius, the capital city of Lithuania, for the last 30 years and a bit. Anyway, today is Sunday, February the 16th. Interesting date for Lithuania. It's Independence Day. Now, it's Independence Day going back to 1918 when the Tsarist Empire ended with the assassination of the Tsar and his family of Russia. And in 1918, Lithuania took the opportunity to proclaim its independence. We do actually have a second Independence Day on March the 11th, which is officially called Restoration of the Independence of Lithuania, which is when the Soviet Union started collapsing, and Lithuania was one of the very first countries to proclaim its independence from the Soviet Union. And you can see how bright it is. It is sunny. And that's pretty good because there's a lot of official functions and flag raising and marching bands, etc. going on in the center of town. So it's not raining, it's not snowing, it's not whatever. But it's not warm. It's sort of like -5, -6. Last night during the night time it went down to -11, -12. In some parts of the country it went down to -15. So for this month of February we are actually having our proper winter. It has snowed a bit and we have had snow cover on the ground for at least the last 10 days. So maybe it's the last spirit of winter wanting to show its force, what it can do. But yeah, the days are sort of like -2, -3. Now that we're having a bit of a cold snap, so it's a little bit colder. But as you can see, my south-facing windows, I think I could sit by the windows and have a bit of a tan. Anyway, today I would like to share with you my Alocasia collection, and I think I have 9 of them. Some are doing very well and have always done very well. Some are sort of teetering on the edge, but I will explain it all to you. Now, one thing is all my Alocasia, all of them are in pon. I have a couple of years ago had some Alocasia in soil in a chunky mix, but I find that they grow well better in pon for me. Now, south-facing window. Most of the Alocasias are either very close to that window. One of them is not even half a meter away. Some are to the side of the window and they tend to bend towards that light, and there are grow lights there so that when we do have our usual winter gloomy days, there are grow lights shining down on them. And I did read a long time ago that Alocasias really like to have their light coming from above rather than from the side, but coming from above, and apparently that sometimes stops them from going dormant during the winter. In fact, I have none of my main Alocasias, none of them have gone dormant during the winter. 1 or 2 of them might have stopped doing anything, but doing something, but they haven't gone dormant, they haven't lost all their leaves, except for one, and that was an Alocasia amazonica corm, which was growing very nice, but as soon as autumn came, the leaves started melting off. So I've put it in what I call my plant hospital room next to the window. But the corm is alive and well. It's chunky. It's not rotting or anything. So it will come good. Bear with me because some of these pots might be a little bit heavy to lift because the pots are big. It's full of pon. I'm in the middle of doing my watering schedule, and I think it's been at least 10 days since the last time I checked my plants and watered them. But yeah, the water, those that are in pond, they all have little indicators to show. Most of them have anyway, indicators to show what the level is, and it's not soil moisture, substrate moisture is not evaporating all that much. I currently have hard pumping up my humidity today. I've got it up to 48%. It's 25 degrees in this room because the sun is shining. Now, all my windows, third, second, and first floor, all the main windows all face south. There are all these big windows. So my home's going to heat up today quite a bit, which is good because it means my heating turns off automatically because it's above. I think most of them are set for 23, 24 degrees, more on 24, because I do find that, believe it or not, 23 degrees inside is a bit cool. Of course, when you come in from outside, it's nice and warm, but as soon as I acclimate, I'm feeling a bit cool, and I'm thinking if I'm feeling a bit cool, the plants are probably feeling a bit cool. So, I set it for 24, but as I said, in this room now, it's 25.7 Celsius. So nice and warm for them. Now, I'll start with the very, very, very first Alocasia that I got. Now, it's going to be a bit hard. Well, first of all, it's on wheels, so let's move it into the frame. This is my Alocasia zebrina. Well, I'll show it to you from close up. It's growing well. It has very tall stems, I suppose, with the leaves on the top, a bit long for a petiole. And there's a little baby corm that's sprouted in the bottom of it. Now, this particular plant, when did I get it? In October 2022. And it was the very first one. A friend of mine took me, sorry about the lighting, but in 2022, it was a huge plant. I think there were 3 plants in the pot with huge, long petioles, big leaves at the top. And that's when I was still growing in my apartment, and I put it underneath skylight. So it got a lot of bright light from above, and it was doing very, very well. And after about a year or so, it was attacked, brutally attacked by spider mites. And unfortunately, no matter what I did, I just had to really cut back the leaves and get rid of them and hope that it sprouts. Now, 2 of them did not recover from that attack. 1 of them did, and this is the one that I have now. I don't have any spider mites anywhere on any of my Alocasias. So touch wood that will continue. Could be that just because it's winter. And they won't fly in from outside because it's too cold for them outside. They're probably hibernating. And one thing is as I said, they're all in pond. So some of these pots are heavy because there's a water reservoir and the pond itself. But when I water all the plants that I have in pond, I don't fill it up through the little gap that's left in the internal pot for the water to go in. No, I prefer to water my fertilized water, reverse osmosis water. So I have to put some fertilizer in it because there's nothing of use at all in reverse osmosis. It's like distilled water. I always water from the top so that the water trickles through the pond, past the roots that are in the pond and into the reservoir below. And I just watch for the indicator to go up to show that there's at least half the reservoir is full. I don't take out the pot and fill up the reservoir or use the little opening that's usually near the indicator, a little grill to fill up the pot. No, I water from above. Always I water from above. I'll really try. But this is the zebrina. It's my very first one. Beautiful. It has beautiful leaves. They're not, the petioles are as long as the original plant was, but the leaves are not as big, but it is a beautiful plant. I do sometimes use these little circular hooks, not hooks, but get this one off and I'll show you. These little things. I often show you, here we go. I often put these on my plants to to group the stems and to stop the plant from taking up too much real estate, so that the petioles will be closer together. And I find that's very helpful. This one, this Zebrina, also, of course, probably it's got lovely patterning down the sides here. I do like it. I think there's a black Zebrina version. I would like to have that has much darker stems or petioles. But yeah, I'm very happy with it. It has recently put out, I think, this leaf, because it's not as dark as the others and it's still hardening off. But yeah, as you can see, it's about half a meter from that window that's blasting away with the sunshine. And I do turn it from time to time, but I use this thing to keep the petioles straight without taking up too much real estate, because there's enough plants. And you probably can't see it, but just here, no, you can't see this. Just here, there's a tiny little Zebrina coming through. So this is sort of nostalgic for me, because it's, back in 2022, it's the very first Alocasia I bought. And we've been through a lot with this particular plant, but it's come back. At least one of them has survived, and the bottom of the pot, the base is quite chunky. But they start to need some sort of support or a stick in there, so they do go a little bit floppy. Anyway, that's that one. Let's put him down if I don't break anything. There we go. Now, the next one, you're not too heavy. It's Alocasia amazonica. Yep, Alocasia amazonica. You can see these beautiful plants, beautiful leaves, I mean. There's actually two plants and a baby plant sprouting up from IKEA quite some time ago. I left it for at least 6 months in its pot that it came in, which was basically coir, and then it repotted it about a couple of weeks ago. Now, this is Alocasia amazonica. I did read somewhere on the internet a little something about them, and it said it's native to Brazil. Well, it's not. The Alocasia amazonica is not native to anywhere. It's a hybrid between two different Alocasias that was created, I'll use that word, by a nursery owner in Florida. Back in the 1950s, he wanted to produce an Alocasia that would grow nicely inside without too much trouble. And he called it Amazonica because his plant nursery's name was Amazonica. So he called it Alocasia amazonica. And what I've read recently is that Alocasia amazonica and Alocasia amazonica poly are not the same. I did watch a film, a video clip recently from another nursery. I think it was also in Florida, that the Amazonica poly is a hybrid between Amazonica and another Alocasia, and I can't remember what it is. And it was the grower that was explaining it, so I don't quite remember what the difference is between Amazonica and Amazonica poly, or Amazonica and poly. Sometimes it's called Alocasia poly. It's a completely different one. It's not Amazonica poly. Amazonica poly and poly is a cross between Amazonica and some other plant. But it has beautiful, can you see it from up there? Look at that beautiful red color. Beautiful red color underneath it. You know, when I reviewed this video, I hope you can see them all, but it's just gorgeous. It's absolutely dark red on that side. Beautiful. Burgundy color, I would call it. Wonderful plant. This is actually my second Amazonica, one that I got quite a few years ago. Didn't really do very well for me. It was also attacked, but you know, I do wipe the leaves down and I do check the leaves, especially in the grooves, to make sure that there's no spider webs, and usually does fine. So that's that one. One more that I want to show you is my Alocasia cuprea Red Secret, which I got in November 2023. So what is it, 24, a year and a bit. And it's this one, it's this one. And this one has absolutely gorgeous, if you can see there, beautiful, beautiful dark, almost brown leaves. Now, this one, I found a little trick on this one, well discovered. I think I might have seen something, but apparently this cuprea, if it is too close to a light source and it's getting too much light, leaves will droop like that. And I had this one about half a meter from my south-facing window. So from time to time, it would get some direct sunlight. Now, remember I mentioned once before, they are triple glazed windows, so the light is strong, but the UV rays are not. So the leaves don't burn, but they might be affected by too strong a light. And I think I saw somewhere a video that said, move it back. If the leaves, especially on the cuprea, are drooping down, boom, move it further back from the light. So now it's about a meter from the light, and all the leaves, more or less, all the leaves are more or less upright. And it's producing more leaves more often. It has a new leaf coming out here somewhere. Yes, I believe so. And the leaves are not sizing up very much, which makes me a little bit sad, but yeah, we'll see about that. But yeah, okay, my cuprea Red Secret. Now, if we go from Red Secret, let's go to Alocasia, sorry, Reginula Black Velvet. I've had this one since March 2024, and it's beautiful. It also has reddish leaves at the back. Now this one, I used to have this and the cuprea on a bench against the wall near my south-facing window. The cuprea used to be very close to the window, and the black velvet was about half a meter away from the window. And I've now swapped their positions. The cuprea is now away from the window, and the black velvet is very, very, very close to the window. It's, I don't know, 30 centimeters, if not a little bit less, away from the actual glass of the window inside. And as you can see, it's doing very, very well. Beautiful, beautiful. I have no problems with this, and did see somewhere on the top of the soil it's pushing out some corms, but yeah, it needs a little bit of water. I haven't got to this one yet today. Before we get on to some others, here I have a little, look at the leaf. It's starting to go a little bit yellow. This is Alocasia Mellow. Now, I got this one in September last year at the Vilnius Plant Swap from Svetlana of Firefly in the Room. Now, it did have, I got it, it was very, very, very small propagation, and it had one leaf. Now, since I've had it, it started pushing out this leaf and the old leaf immediately melted away. And this is starting to go a little bit dry at the tips, but, and there is the faintest of signs that it will be pushing out a new leaf. So maybe at the moment this is in the one leaf plant club. It's not even in the 3-leaf or the 2-leaf plant club. It might be in the 1-leaf club, but it is still very small. It's probably still establishing its root system. Of course, it's in pon, and it gets all the light it needs. And the interesting thing is this Alocasia mellow. It's native to Sabah, the state of Sabah in Malaysia. Now, it doesn't grow in soil. No. It grows, and this is a bit of a mouthful, it grows in or on what is called ultramafic soils. First time I ever heard of this. What the hell is an ultramafic soil? Well, ultramafic rocks, and they're sometimes also called ultrabasic rocks. They're sort of rocks, pebbles, gravel, sort of igneous rocks, and they have a very low level of silica, high magnesium, more than 18% of magnesium, high iron content, and a very low potassium. And it's rocks or gravel. So this should do, the mellow should do well in pon. Well, I'm waiting for the day until it starts doing well. I have no expectations of when I get a small propagation that suddenly it's going to burst into life and within 6-7 months it's going to be a nice big plant. No, it needs to establish itself in the pot first. So considering this grows on rocks, it should do well in pon. Now, you remember I did get myself an Alocasia Friedeck variegated. Well, it's not looking the best. It's not. There actually are 2 plants, but one of them is very small, and so far it always puts out white leaves. Well, there's nothing really to talk about. It has nice variegation. This was closer to my window, south-facing window, and I saw that especially one of the leaves before, the last one that dropped off, melted away actually, it didn't drop off, had more white variegation, and being close to the window, it just melted away. So I moved it away, and it's also about I can see it's going to push out another new leaf. I love it, that's good news. So I've moved it away. It's about 1.5 meters away from the south-facing window, which, by sheer coincidence, I watched Claire's video from the Jungle Haven, and her Milano Friedeck variegated is doing beautifully, but she struggled with it. She had it in her IKEA cabinet, she had it everywhere, she had different soils, and etc., and hers is doing the best it's ever done in natural room humidity, room conditions, and she shifted it to pon, and it's doing very well. It's a very beautiful plant. I envy that plant, and I hope mine will grow to be a little bit like it. So mine is now, she also had it closer to the window and realized that no, it's too close, she has to move it back. And she's also moved back about 1.5 meters from her windows, which is exactly what I had done with mine. And she's growing it in pon, and she recommends pon only for the Friedeck variegated. Now that's my experience, and that's her experience. And somehow our 2 experiences, being so far away from one another, and different temperatures and different climates, more or less, between the UK and here, our results are the same. About 1.5 meters away from the window, and grow it in pon, or another semi-hydro mix, but that's not organic. Okay, so that's that. Where are we up to now? Oh, yes, this one is a big one. This one I want to show you now is an Alocasia ventii New Guinea Shield. Now, I got this one in June 2023. Sorry, but this one is very heavy. Let me just move it around. Oh, look at that. Oh, yes, here I am under the canopy. Hello there. It's pushing out a brand new leaf here, so it doesn't really care. And this is very close. This is, where are you all? This is half a meter, maybe a bit more, away from the south-facing window. It's just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. New Guinea Shield. Yeah, what was it? Yes, New Guinea Shield. Ventii New Guinea Shield. I got this in June 2023. It's a very wobbly plant. It's got a very, very, very thick base. And as you can probably see here, it has beautiful dark undersides of the leaves. It's got a little hole up there. That actually is a direct result of sun damage on a couple of my Alocasias, so about a year ago or so, if not more, when they had spider mites, and I sprayed them with a weak solution of neem oil on a cloudy day, and everything was fine, except I forgot to notice that suddenly the sun had popped out and was blasting through the windows. And if you've got any oily product on the leaf surface of the plant and the sun is shining, the leaf is going to fry. So some of my others also had these little brown spots where they had suffered from catching. This particular leaf is, bent. I've also got one of those little plastic things to keep the leaves together, but let's just chop this one off. No. Okay, it's a beautiful, oh, you're gone from the jungle. It's a beautiful leaf, it's beautiful coloring underneath. Look, it's just gorgeous, but sorry, but it's bent and it's flopping. So it goes down, but beautiful. But it does need support. If it doesn't have the support, it's just, unless I repot it and I pot it a little bit deeper, but it's growing, it's flourishing. I don't touch anything if it's doing well, regardless of the pot it's in, the size of the pot and whatever. Don't fix what's not broken. I love that saying. Don't fix what's not broken. If you see that there are serious problems starting to occur with the plant, then investigate its roots, maybe change the substrate or change its location or give it more light or give it less light. Sooner or later, you'll find the sweet spot that the plant really, really likes. But I'm not in favor of repotting just because the plant is too big and not showing any signs of stress that it's too big for its pot. So yeah, this is a big one. Don't often see this one in the shops. I just don't remember how I came across this one, but I saw it and I had to get it. Well, sorry that I have to talk to you through the leaves, but let's go down and not break my back putting this one down. Oh, by the way, there, is it there? Yes, there, my Strelitzia Nicolai, the leaves have hit the ceiling. I love that plant, but I'm going to have to give that one away. Luckily, I think there's a friend of mine that wants it to take it to his workplace and put it there. And I will just get a smaller one and start growing again. Because, what am I going to do? Drill a hole in the ceiling to the 3rd floor and let it keep growing? I can't do that. It's impractical. And it's too big. It's much too big. And yeah. And here, the other big thing is my Anthurium Jungle King. I've had this one since February 2023. It's still in its, when I brought it home, I repotted it, and it's stayed in the same pot. I just keep up with the watering and nutrients. It's put out a new leaf last week or so. And the funny thing was, when I first noticed the leaf, it was about 2 centimeters tall. 24 hours later, I looked at it and it's about 10 centimeters long. It was really, really big, but it's growing crazy. Again, it's growing, it's not suffering. The interesting thing is, once again, I moved this plant slightly away from that south-facing window, and immediately it pushed out a new leaf. Coincidence? Or is there method to my madness? I hope I'm not too dark when I review this video, because it's a bit dark. One other early alocasia that I had, which I got in May 2023, is Alocasia cuculata. Oh, it's heavy. There it is. It also has a yellowing leaf. So you come out. Now this one, of all my Alocasias, this one used to be the one that was most susceptible to attack by red spider mites. It's been clear of spider mites for at least 6 months, and it's on a shelf, not in front of the window, but next to the window. And so I constantly, as you can see now, a lot of the leaves are pointing in that direction, because it points towards where the light is stronger, and I constantly have to rotate the plant to get it to straighten out. And I also have to have another one of these little plastic hooky things around it, because it really does spread out and takes up too much real estate for me. So yeah, it just goes and goes and goes and goes. Even being attacked by red spider mites, cut those leaves off or wipe them off or spray them or whatever. They just keep on coming out and out and out. And the interesting thing is, it has quite a thick stem, but a little bit higher up the soil level, the stem is thicker than it is lower down. So it's sort of top heavy. So it does need, it doesn't have any support anymore. It just has this little hooky circle thing to keep the leaves bunched together so that it doesn't just spread out. But there's nothing special about it. It's just nice and bushy, and if all my Alocasias had as many leaves as this one has, I would be jumping over the moon with joy, because it just keeps going and going and going. It's never been in the 1-leaf plant club, never in the 2-leaf, never in the 3-leaf. It's always, this is one plant, and what's it got, 10 leaves or whatever at the moment. If all Alocasias grew like this one, we'd all be over the moon with joy with this. So yeah, it grows really well. Nothing special, nothing spectacular, but lots of greenery, lovely heart-shaped leaves, beautiful plant. And it is heavy. Do I have any more? Let's have a look. We've talked all about you. Oh, there's one behind me. One last one behind me. But also behind me, you might notice here my Thai constellation. This is its newest leaf. It's still slightly hardening off, and I did check the back of the stem, and it's starting to produce another leaf. It's usually half a meter or so away from the south facing window, leaves facing the window, so because that's what I want all the leaves facing one way. But on cloudy days and at night until about midnight, there's grow lights above that shine on the plants that are down below. So I always refer to this one. It's just lovely. I've never had, it still has all its original leaves. I can't remember, 2 years ago that I got it. No, I got it in 2023 in the summer for my birthday as a moving in present to myself, to this new house. So yeah, beautiful. Never had any problem. It's in pon. Sending out lots of aerial roots, but I send once they get a little bit longer, I can sort of force them to grow into the substrate, into the pon, and it's doing well. I do love it. I do love it. It's one of my favorite plants. I would really like to have it in a spot where it would be a big statement piece, but I don't really have a spot apart from right next to the windows where it would get enough light. So, but it is beautiful. It is beautiful. I love this plant. And my last Alocasia, which I got in, let me think. It's an Alocasia Calidra Pink Dragon in November 2022. Was that COVID? No, it wasn't COVID time, because how did I get to the shop? Anyway, maybe it was a short reprieve from COVID. Oh, it is heavy. Oh, yeah, because the water container is full. This is Alocasia. Alocasia. I did just tell you the name of it. Calidora Pink Dragon. Now, it's Pink Dragon because the stems are pinkish. Now, I actually got this as one plant. This is a leaf of one of its babies, and there's another baby here down at the bottom with 2 leaves on it. But see, you can see here, it's also got a hole on it. This also suffered from being sprayed. It's not red, but the veins are reddish on the underside. Sort of white, silvery white on the top, but reddish veins on the bottom. I love this one. This one has gone through hell and high water with me, and it's always survived. And yes, there's a new leaf coming out. The main plant has 3 big leaves at the moment. It has had more, but it's lost a couple of leaves this winter. So nothing to worry about. To be expected. I mean, you know, you may have enough light on the plants, you may have enough warmth in your rooms, but they know that it's autumn or the fall. They know that winter has started and it's time for them to perhaps shed their oldest leaves. But yeah, I do like this one. It took me a long while till I worked out why it was called a pink dragon. I thought, oh. Then I realized, you know, that the stems, the petioles, are pinkish, and the undersides of the leaves are sort of marrony cherry red. So I do love this plant. It is also one of my favorites, and it's one that I've had a long time. I suppose, like any plant enthusiast, I would like to get some more Alocasias, Dragon's Breath or whatever it's called, on these very long elongated leaves. But I'll wait. I'm not in a hurry to get new plants. Although I did get a couple of Scindapsus, because I had a relative come over with his drill and his expertise and put some little shelves up on the walls, on one of the walls, 3 little shelves that I can put trailing plants on, and I've put Scindapsus on them. Initially I thought that it would be too dark for them against that wall, but I'll show them to you one day. They are doing okay, because sometimes indirectly the light shines on the wall that's behind the camera, and the Scindapsuses get an hour or 2 of semi-bright light, and they've put out new leaves, so they seem to be doing all right. So that's about all I wanted to share with you today. Spring is coming. You know, I think about 10 days ago, when I went for a walk with my little dog out into the little forest that's near my home, and the sun was shining, and there was no snow on the ground, and I heard this little bird chirping, and then another little bird further away responding and chirping back the same little song. And it's a little bird that I refer to as the spring herald, Because I only ever hear that little bird chirping when spring has arrived. Well, I think it started chirping a little bit too early because the next day it was much colder and it had snowed during the night. And yep, it hasn't chirped since. So it's either hiding somewhere warm because it's probably too late to fly south because it'll get caught in a snowstorm. But and I see in many parts of the world it's quite cold in the northern hemisphere, in quite a number of places around the northern hemisphere countries. So yeah, winter, it's last hurrah for the season, because December, January was a record warmth, practically no snow. Some of my spring bulbs had started to sprout. All my rhododendrons that are outside, I've got huge, beautiful buds forming. My magnolias are forming buds. But in one respect, it's good that it has snowed, because there's now a reasonably thick, not what we're used to, thick cover of snow, but there's a cover of snow on the ground, which is good for the plants because the temperatures are going down, especially at night, to like -10 up to -15, and it keeps the roots insulated from the cold. So we need the snow, because if we had no snow and it was -15 at night, you can probably kiss some of your outdoor plants goodbye because they would have frozen. So the snow acts as a buffer between the cold and the soil. And for rhododendrons, they have very fine roots and more or less closer to the surface than deep. The deep trees and shrubs that have deep roots, no problem with the cold weather. But those that have finer roots and near the surface, we tend to lose some plants. And then what do? We replant them in spring with new ones and hope that the next winter's not going to be as cold as the one before. But the really cold winters, that when I first moved to this country and it was like -30, -35, -4, almost nearly -40, they seem to be in days long gone. But I did see an article that for some northern hemisphere countries, due to climate change, there will be a period of more warming, and then eventually our winters and summers may get cold, very cold. Well, 5-6 degrees average temperature colder than now, and that will include the UK. So it's time UK started getting used to snow and dealing with snow and having winter tires and all the rest. This part of the world that I'm in, they're so used to cold winter weather and blizzards and all the rest. But nothing stops. The buses keep running, the trains keep running, the trolley buses keep running. It's just that we can't always keep running if there's black ice on the footpath. That is the only thing I hate about winter, is this black ice. You either have to hold on to each traffic sign post or a tree or something, and then slide to the next tree and grab hold of it. But you learn to walk like a penguin, so that you don't slip, or you get good winter boots that dig in, and there is these sort of rubber meshes with metal wire on it that you can slip onto your shoes, and you can just ballet your way along on the ice, and you won't slip because the metal spirals dig in. But you basically have to, if you've got carpets or wooden floors, you basically have to put a little stool outside your front door and put your boots on by the front door, because if you walk along on your wooden floors with these metal spirals on the bottom of your boots, well, you're going to damage your floors. Anyway, I've gone off on a tangent. Well, I will be having a look at this video, and hope that you could see everything I was showing you. If you're in parts of Europe that are cold, stay warm, keep your plants warm, don't panic. Spring is here, and I can see the light intensity has changed. Yeah, just when I'm stopping to film. But what can you do about it? I'm just so glad the sun is shining, because temperature in my room is 25, nearly 26 degrees Celsius now. So anyway, it was good having you here. Don't forget, if you watched this video, even if you didn't watch all of it. But if you're watching it and you're not subscribed, please subscribe, please press like, and see you next time. Bye. And we can switch you off. And I didn't have a cap on today.